Can everyone see that okay? And everyone hear me okay?
Yeah, I've got you, Jay.
Yeah. No worries. Anyway, thanks for turning up, guys. It's coming in. Really good to see. Good turnout for it. Um, Todd's asked me to come in just to show you a little piece for anyone that's interested within the academy of potentially, continuing their education a bit further into uni, and also potentially if they're wanting to go down the career route, long time playing football, if they're for another avenues into performance analysis, what you could be expected as well whilst at uni, and what type of work you'd be expected to deliver. For this, I've just done this recently, only about 2 months ago. Four of us and my course, we were tasked to review the World Cup, sort of playing the role as sort of annotating France's national team, and they're asking us of what to prepare for the Euros coming up now for 2021. So this is our review from it and the type of standard you'll be getting from it. So overview that we had a quick overview on the squad of getting all the players, also putting out all the data of the games that they played, goals as well, and their age. We then went in to look at the basics from the game from it. So we looked at first at the team identity from it. So we looked at what France's team would normally be out of possession and in possession. So you can see from the diagrams out of possession, they are normally set up in a 4-3-3 formation, usually set up a low block, so often drop back behind the halfway line at the times and just try and soak up pressure and then hit on a counter-attack. Also pressing as a unit, more of a zonal press, so pressing certain areas at certain times off certain cues and triggers. And all players will participate, obviously, in the defence. Once they've regained the ball, going across the other side in possession, the quality that they had in the fullbacks of Hernandez and Pavard bombing forwards, and obviously the quality of Kante during then 2018, probably at his peak, playing as a 6, allowed the other sort of 2-8s and the front three, as well as the fullbacks, to bomb forward and help out in attack there. Really quick transition and really effective as well from it. So overall, just using Huddle like what we've got in the college, we analysed it, we coded every single game from it, and then once we had coded the game, created our clips as well for stuff that we wanted to annotate. We then produced the data and put into this PowerPoint, as I'm about to show now. So a quick look at the group stage. We could see here that they had a relatively quite difficult group with having Australia, Peru, and obviously Denmark as well. Quite a lot of teams that might not necessarily have tons of quality, but will often sit back and sort of soak up pressure and make it quite difficult for the team to try and break down. So we see their usual formation against Australia. They went to a 4-3-3. Just about got through. It was a bit tricky the first game. They won 2-1 in the end. And you can see there the sort of transformation, slightly change in shape. From when he played, he sort of went into a 4-2-3-1, and this formation stuck throughout the rest of the tournament. They got the 1-0 win against Peru, and that was comfortable for them. They had qualified out the group, topped the group as well, and in the Denmark game, they were able to just rotate and use some of the fringe players to get some minutes. We go on to the next one now. So looking at the ball possession, against Australia, they had 58% possession, compared to Australia's 42. This was probably one of the few games, I think there was only 2 games where actually France dominated possession throughout the whole entire tournament. This was quite a surprise to us when we calculated the data. And France actually were more effective at being a low possession ball team in regards to, and more effective on the counter-attack. So you can see there with Australia being sort of a low block team in a 4-4-2. Setup that they had at the bottom. You can see like the 3 to 5 pass strings and 6+ pass strings. France had a lot more compared to Australia, and see how it flips on its side where going against Peru and sort of Denmark, France were just happy to soak up with the pressure and hit on the counter attack and having lower passer strings. So I'm begging the question whether actually possession is it all it be that having more possession is going to win your games, or is actually the quality in your play and how quick you can get out. We went into then the next part, which is probably the more interesting, is the knockout stages. And from it, they had quite a tough road going through to the World Cup, from which you ended up being winners from. And the first challenge that they had was obviously a tough side and against Argentina. This was a really good game that came about from it. They just about scraped the foot. They won 4-3 in the end. And also went against Uruguay, got a 2-0 win there. And then also in the semi-finals, got a very important 1-0 win. And then absolutely cruised in the final, if you can remember back that far back. This one now, we're just going to go into the games step by step here from it. So the first one, Argentina, we could see there this the high intensity running stats there, and also the sprints that were calculated through the meters throughout the game. And you can see that, you know, sticking true to their guns with France being a bit more of a low block team hitting on the counter attack. They didn't run as much compared to Argentina. They were more direct 4-3-3, a lot of possession, a lot of pressing. Same again in the possession stats. Argentina absolutely dominated again compared to France's 42% possession. And the same again when you see the passing strings, only three in the 3 to 5 and 6 plus passes. France had a lot less, but were more effective when going forward. We break down as well the shot analysis. You could see when France did hit in the counter attack, you could see where a lot of their successor shots came from, where they got the goals from. With 5 shots where it within inside that danger area, that's within the 12 yards there, and also 40% of shots were just outside the box. And you can also see the pie diagram below, showing the shots that also resulted in less than 5 passes or more than 6 passes, and also set pieces compared to Argentina's one. You can see Argentina were just as effective as well, getting in the box, but France overall came on top. It's now just to show you the clip of France showing just how effective of having Kante as a 6 and the technical ability and quality of the fullbacks in Hernandez and Pavard. So we'll just see now when it plays. Coming through now, you can see on either side, Hernandez and Pavard pushing through, and the front 3 pushing forward as well, allowing the midfielders to come in. Bit of luck, that rebound off the shot, but you can see how deadly Mbappe was to follow through on that one. Then we went into the quarterfinals, and this is actually quite sort of test of character again, being patient for France, because this is possibly the second game that they actually dominated the possession. This was because the way that Uruguay played, they are a very defensive team. They set up in a low block and hit on a counter-attack again, setting in a 4-4-2, and will always counter into a 4-3-3 when going forward. And you can see there, again, of the sort of passing strings as well, of how much more France had to be more patient and sort of play it from side to side and trying to shift Uruguay to hopefully create a bit of space and get in behind. We go on to the next one again, showing a shot analysis. And you can see now how much of a low block it was against Uruguay, because only 3% or 3 shots were actually within that 12 yard of the penalty spot. And then there was actually 8 shots just on the outside of it, showing how much they had to rely on. And again, for it, set pieces as well, quite a lot of set pieces to try and get behind him. That will be resulted in corners and free kicks, and also how much you can see in the actual more passing strings, how many that actually resulted then into shots compared to Uruguay's one. And just to show you the clip of how they had to be a bit more creative for France in order to break them down. You can see the quality of having Pogba and Griezmann. They had to be really sharp and slick with the passing against a really tough block. This doesn't almost creates a chance, gets pushed out, but just shows you how they had to be a lot better from it, from which they did get the 2 goals. And then, oh, sorry, gone a bit too far there. Coming into the Belgian game now, and this is a really bit of a basketball game in it from it, that just because I think with Didier Deschamps, he realised that probably the midfield of France is not going to be able to cope with going toe to toe in possession wise with Belgium and pressing them. So he relied heavily on that low block and hitting and running, really bursting out the traps and hitting them on that counter attack. As you can see, the high intensity this is probably the only time where France actually ran a lot harder and a lot more than the opposition. And you can see again, compared to the passer strings again from it, how very little that they had compared to Belgium's side. And then going into the shot analysis again, with it being a bit more of a basketball match and hitting on the counter attack, you can see how much they got into the box and whatnot from it. And same again, into the passes compared to Belgium's stats as well. And this is just some of the clips to break down from here. We'll just go. It's coming on now. So you can just see now, this is a really good shape from France, showing when they're in that 4-3-3, how really tight and compact it is and how it's always forcing Belgium to go out wide. And then there's another press there, really comfortable. And it's often to result in either Belgium, someone to try and dribble past or beat a man to try and get in behind them. And then just showing how deadly they are when the low block is successful for France. When they get a break, is Giroud really working hard to get back. Is Varane straight out, only a few passes, and you can see here, I think this is Matuidi now as a midfielder, and he's one of the furthest forwards, showing how hard he is trying to get forwards to try and help out an attack. Doesn't come of anything, but it just shows you the chances that could be created when he broke out in that trap. And then finally, it was the final for when he won 4-2, and same again, really effective against Croatia, just sitting on that low block and hitting on the counter attack, and he really did unravel Croatia from within that game. And going into the shot stats again, similar again from it. When we come now to breaking down the strengths, it was quite hard to, we could have spent pretty much all day on the strengths with for France, but during my assessment, we only had 10 minutes to present this. So I really wanted to focus on the front three and just showing how unique they are and how fluid they are within each other when playing. You got obviously Mbappe, who likes to play on the shoulder, devastating with his skill and his pace, getting in behind, a really good poacher. And also the aerial threat that Giroud has and how he can really take a couple of centre-backs out of the game, allowing space in behind. And also the genius of Griezmann, who can play as a 10 or sort of an inverted winger, can cut in and help out there, as well as in his defensive, which he does in this clip now. He's helped break up play, and his first instinct, he hardly even looks. He already knows where Mbappe is going to be, and a nice little lofted ball over to Mbappe, in which he squares it to Giroud. Giroud should do better from it, but just showing you the chances that could be.
You there, James?
Going to win the flick-ons against the centre-halves. So Pogba here, nice little clip against a really tough opponent that they had to break down. And you can see in behind for Griezmann and Mbappe are going straight in for the kill afterwards. Then focusing sort of on weaknesses, it's quite hard to be very critical of a team that won the World Cup, but we did manage to find some within the data of areas to work on. So we've seen that defending set pieces and crosses coming into the box and maintaining shape during the latter periods of the game. As we can see here from the stats, goals conceded in the tournament, 4 came from crossing, 1 from a long shot and 2 from free kicks, and 1 that led to a penalty in the Australia game was from a cross that resulted in TT handballing. And then finally, to going forward for the 2021, we recognised a few players, the likes of Giroud, Nzonzi, Matuidi and Mandanda. We're all going to be approaching 32 in this tournament. Well, the 32 at the current stage. I'm going to be a bit older coming into the next tournament. So we thought it'd be a great opportunity to bed in the up and coming French talents to be a part of the squad and hopefully be a part of fringe players to bring on. So we got top left there, Yassine Adli, top right, Bibakary Samare, Areola Alfonso as well, and Marcus Thuram as well. These are all got international caps under the belt and are regularly playing in top leagues, including Europa League and the Champions League. And that's it, guys. Any questions